Hey everybody, I'm Joel. It's a pleasure to be here with you. It's my first time here in the Brutally Delicious podcast, so many thanks to Bruce Moore, for the opportunity to sit here and participate in the conversation. I've been a big fan of Brutally Delicious since True American Black Metal came out, 2020, September, around this time of year. Pandemic City, spent a lot of time with it, and the rest of Bruce's films really helped me get through some shit. Everybody had a bunch of stuff, and Bruce's stuff was certainly helpful for me. So it's really an honor to be asked to be here. So thanks, Bruce, and thank you all for listening. So if you haven't seen Hair Metal Revival yet, Bruce's latest film, check that shit out, man. Really good time. And I can credit it for sort of slapping me in the face with kind of a wave of nostalgia, reminded me of the stuff I listened to, back in the day when hair metal was all the rage, and that kind of opened my ears and my mind to allow a little extra room for the album we're about to talk about, which is 1985 by Talas. Now, a little bit of personal history, if you don't mind. In 1984, I bought my first album, which was 1984 by Van Halen. I fucking loved it. I still love it. I still have that record, and I will play it. It's the best. But by 1985, I didn't want to be Van Halen. I wanted to be Marty McFly. I'm serious, man. And I was 12. So in 85, 12-year-old kids, a lot of us wanted to be Marty McFly. He was the cool kid who could play Van Halen. And well or not, but it sort of told me and some of my friends that, hey, maybe we can play too. So it was a big deal. Back to the Future. It was a big deal for lots of reasons, and really a big one that doesn't get a lot of credit, I don't think, is the soundtrack, which is the first thing that comes to mind when you see this album cover, which, if you haven't seen it, it's just a painting of a DeLorean sitting in a field with the doors up. Just kind of looks like it's been sitting there for 35 years, just collecting dust, waiting for someone to rediscover it. So that's where I'm at, in 1985, right? Just Back to the Future, kind of Van Halen. Yeah. By 1986, though, the world heard Steve Vai save David Lee Roth from a certain future as a clown school teacher, and Roth's whole band on that record, Eat 'Em and Smile, was from a different planet, man. So good, still so good. So, Steve Vai, yes, absolutely. But you learn real quick, if you listen back, that you cannot underestimate Billy Sheehan. So those dudes made music from the future, man. Just, or played like they could see it, right? So, and from my perspective, completely changed the landscape, guitar-wise, like globally. So nothing was the same after that. And I have a theory, okay? You ready for this? Okay, here's my theory. Eddie Van Halen inspired Marty McFly in 1984. Marty McFly went back in time in 1985 and inspired Chuck Berry. By 1986, guitarists came out of the woodwork everywhere, playing circles around each other until it became one giant Guitar Hero circle jerk soup. Are you with me so far? So this 3-year period of time inspired a Talas record in 2022, which means 1985, the album, is future music from the past we can hear now in the present day. And if that hurts your head to think about, it's because Darth Vader came down from the planet Krypton and told a baby Joe Satriani that if he didn't one day teach guitar to a kid named Steve, he was going to melt his brain. Sorry, that's ridiculous. I know. showing my age and my geeky side, trying to be smart or whatever, kind of a word salad kind of thing. But here's my point. This album, it just makes you think of happier times. And if not happier, at least more simple. When the jokes were a little bit easier to tell and understand. And going back to the hair metal documentary, the music was about, kind of fun things. It got serious every now and then, sure, but it wasn't so unbearably heavy, conceptually. So Talas was around from 79 to 83. They put out records in that period of time. Clearly influenced by bands like Rush and Styx and Boston. But as we've already discussed, Billy Sheehan was from another planet. He was an alien, right? So if you listen to those albums now, even without context, you're like, holy shit, who is that guy? Sheehan's just way ahead of his time. There's a bass solo on the album Sink Your Teeth Into That. Came out in 1982. The song's called NV43345. Ridiculous title, but oh my god. It's track 3 on that album. YouTube it, it's bonkers. But what makes Billy Sheehan so great is that he has the capability and restraint to remain almost invisible until the song calls for chaos, right? Like it's just, he works with the song. The opening track's a good example. It's called Inner Mounting Flame. He's pretty much with the riff until the chorus, about 30 seconds in, and then every 30 seconds after that, it's like a little flurry of Billy Sheehan, a little Sheehan flurry, if you will. It's badass, yeah, but it serves the song, and the whole band's like that. Another good example is the song Crystal Clear. Kind of sounds like Dio singing for the Police, maybe. It's a full band effort, no showing off, no frills, just a really well-polished tune. And everybody gets a chance to shine. And I think this is a good time to mention Mark Miller, the drummer who is just channeling Neil Peart. Then Kyra Najowski on guitar, whose rhythm playing is just super tight, skinny jeans tight, man. Understated, persuasive, kind of like George Lynch maybe, without the solos, and Paul Gilbert, in fact, from Racer X, and Mr. Big, of course, being the most well-known Sheehan project these days, and the closest thing that you can compare to Talas, I think, especially on a tune called Black and Blue. This song, it's a cool little pop song, it's not a love song, it's kind of like To Be With You, all right, Mr. Big, and maybe something from the first Extreme record. I can see the music video right now, plain as day, right? Everybody sing along. Put your lighters in the air. I don't know, man. It's the best way possible to think of the hair metal days. High caliber talent, arena ready, with a nightclub kind of energy. Just back in that time, the late 80s. Right now, the vocals. This is where I'm just kind of blown away. The dude's name was Phil Naro. He passed away in 2021 of cancer. He was 63. I hear in him a little bit of Dio, a little bit of Coverdale, Eric Martin from Mr. Big. It's a sad story, really great that they got his vocal performance on the record, but still sad they couldn't tour with it and all these things. And it kind of parallels one of my very favorite vocalists of the 80s, Ray Gillen, R.I.P. Ray Gillen sang for Sabbath on The Eternal Idol, sang on Savage's Hall of the Mountain King. But for me, most especially with Badlands, Jakey Lee's project, that record, oh, damn. Man, that vocal performance on that, it reminds me a bit of Phil Narrows on this Talas record. 1985 sounds like that. Not so much the bluesiness of it. The Phil's vocals aren't that overstated, but they're still real bluesy and gravelly, a little bit raspy, and the album has a sound of that time. Towards the end, the point of the hair metal saga, all right, the point where just as it was hitting its stride, less hairspray, everything had a hint of the blues. Zeppelin got a second wind around that time. Robert Plant's Now and Zen came out. Things were kind of shaping to be a little bit of something else, right? Just that time, 88 to 91, maybe the beginning of 92. That time. What happened after that? Well, never mind, right? Never mind. This time for me musically was Nirvana. So what's the bottom line? What, if anything, is wrong with this record? Not much, honestly. It's pretty spot on. I would like to maybe have heard a bit more from Najowski, a few more fireworks in the lead department, maybe. I think that slightly misses the mark because A Sign of the Times was, supercharged flashiness and out of this world technicality, that kind of thing. Every band had a guitar hero, and this guy is fantastic. You can certainly tell that, but maybe a little bit more. But that's a small gripe, and Talas was ahead of their time in '79. So yeah, zero complaints here. Highly recommended album for sure. It comes out on September 23rd on Metal Blade, just 3 short weeks away. So pick it up. Transport yourself back in time.